Welcome to Abundant Excursions. We understand that travel is more than just a destination, it's a once in a lifetime experience. We offer the perfect blend of luxury and adventure to create the ideal holiday getaway. From romantic beach escapes to exotic island retreats, we will work with you to find the trip that speaks to your heart. We specialize in romance and group travels. Planning a honeymoon? An individual or a group intimate celebration? We got you. What are you waiting for? Send us a message. Abundant Excursions, your luxurious access to the world.
Hello, you guys, and welcome. My name is Angela. I am with Abundant Excursions Incorporated, where I help group and romance travelers create their dream vacations and offer them the luxurious access around the world. Thank you again for joining us today for our first Lunch and Learn series. Each month, we will learn about a new destination, the things to do, what's the best time to travel to the destination, etc. And so today, we're going to talk about Italy. I know that this destination is on mine and several members of the group's travel bucket list. So before we get started, let's talk about some housekeeping notes. For those who did send our questions over in advance, thank you so much for that. Let you know that Q&A will be held at the end of the presentation. But if you do have any additional questions, please put them in the comments on Facebook or in the chat on Zoom throughout the presentation, and they will be answered at the end, okay? All righty. So let's get started. Today, my guest will be Rose Schwartz. And Rose is one of the business development managers at Europe Express. She is a first-generation American born in Chicago to German and Australian immigrants, excuse me, and a 28-year veteran of the travel industry, with the bulk of her experience in foreign independent travel. Her passion for traveling has offered her the opportunity to visit many locations worldwide and most of the countries in Western Europe, more than once or twice. So today we are happy to have her join us. Thank you so much, Rose, for coming and enjoying and experience and sharing with us all you know about Europe, and specifically Italy today.
Thanks, Angela. So this is new for me. I have never been on a Facebook Live, so this is my first experience doing this. I will also be turning off my screen in just a second when I show you my PowerPoint presentation. So you should be seeing that right now. And Angela, if you could just let me know if you are seeing that.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So let's go ahead and get started. We do just, we're a little bit behind, but it's okay. The presentation is not too long, and I hope we have lots of questions at the end. So welcome to our Lunch and Learn. Thank you again, Angela, for having me. I am Rose. I will be your guide today as we discover independent European travel with Europe Express and uncover some tasty Italian destinations. So today, let's get this moving here. Today, we'll highlight some of the customized European travel through Europe Express. Like I said, we'll virtually travel to Italy on an itinerary that includes Rome, Florence, Venice, the Amalfi Coast. And as we conclude, Angela and I will give you some tips on, what to know before you go. We'll provide you with Angela's contact information, which I'm sure you already have. But let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk a little bit about Europe Express. Europe Express is a tour operator based in the United States. We work exclusively with travel advisors to help them to design extraordinary independent European vacations for their clients. So we focus specifically in customization, indulgence, discovery, and transformative travel experiences. And what do I mean by all of this? Well, through customization, you really deserve a European adventure as unique as you are. Your trip need never look the same as a trip that I have planned to the same destination or destinations. Indulgent travel is all about that private, over the shared sightseeing, your pre-booked private transfers, hotel room upgrades to really give you the most luxurious stays imaginable. And discovery is one of the best ways for you to immerse yourselves in the history, culture, cuisine of a destination, to really seek that authentic experience away from the crowds. And really, oftentimes, this means getting beyond those big cities and exploring the hidden wonders of the less frequented villages and landscapes. And through transformative travel, it's all about expanding our horizons, adopting new perspectives, focusing on our well-being, maybe embracing the extraordinary. So what I really want you to know here is that we're not your typical motor coach tour company where hotels, sites, destinations are chosen for you. With Europe Express, you're on your own schedule. You decide how, where, and when you want to travel. So Europe Express is truly a one-stop shop for independent European vacations for your travel advisor. We have contracts, air contracts with all the major carriers into and out of Europe. We offer 3, 4, and 5-star hotels, castles, villas, paradors, posadas, B&Bs, and apartments. On the sightseeing side, we have over 600 sightseeing options, from your basic hop-on, hop-off tour to different fast-track entrances, special interest tours such as beer and wine, history, culinary, and culture. These can all be arranged through Europe Express. We do also offer shared, private, and executive transfers to really make sure that you get safely from one point to another. So from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the train station to the cruise port, or wherever it is you need and want to go. If you are looking to chart your own course through a destination, we'll help your travel advisor to arrange car rentals for you. And when you choose to vacation in Europe, odds are you will probably travel by rail at some point during your stay. It is easy, quick, affordable, and scenic, not to mention eco-friendly, multi-generational, and I'm going to say it, I always do, a bit romantic. I am going to ask that you make sure that you discuss your interests, the type of air travel and accommodations that fit your budget with Angela. And then Angela will work with our staff to secure your quote, to get you the best possible package pricing, and to book that European adventure for you. So what are the benefits to you? Well, Europe Express is an established tour operator with over 30 years of experience. So since our inception in 1990, we have worked exclusively with travel advisors to assist them in creating those completely customizable European adventures for individual travelers, couples traveling together, groups of 10, family and friends, 10 or more, I should say, family and friends. Our team in the United States is comprised of knowledgeable, passionate, and well-traveled reservation specialists. They have either lived, worked, studied, or traveled extensively throughout Europe, so they really know the destinations and the products inside and out. And our Barcelona operations office is there to assist us in contracting our hand-selected products, using their relationships in the marketplace to negotiate contracts directly with thousands of local hotels, activities, sightseeing, other services. And for you, they are there to assist us in servicing our 24/7 emergency hotline. So when you're traveling, you know that you're in the best of hands with Europe Express because you have someone in that same Central European time zone that you can reach out to if need be. So someone once said, of all the books in the world, the best stories are found between the pages of a passport, and I cannot agree more. I want you to come along with us today as we visit Rome, Florence, Venice, their surroundings, and points along the Amalfi Coast. We'll start in Rome. Recognized for its strength and power in ancient times, Rome was christened the Eternal City in the 1st century BC. From the Colosseum to the Pantheon and Trevi Fountain, Rome is known for its striking architecture. It is also home to the smallest country in the world, Vatican City. A tour of ancient archaeological Rome would not be complete without visits to, of course, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, Palatine Hill, and through Europe Express, you have just the private sightseeing excursions that you'll need to see these sites. You will marvel at the Colosseum, which was built between 70 and 80 AD to hold up to 80,000 spectators. You will visit the Forum, which is a plaza surrounded by the ruins of important government buildings in the old city center of Rome. This was the meeting point for social, civil, political, religious, and commercial gatherings of the time. And Palatine Hill, which is historically one of the 7 prominent hills in Rome and home to the aristocracy. Now, for fans of Dan Brown, we have a private walking tour based on his best-selling novel, Angels and Demons, which was also a movie at one point. We'll take you on a mystical and magical adventure of the secret symbolism of the Illuminati in the arts, sciences, and religion. We'll follow the footsteps of the fictional character, Professor Robert Langdon. We'll meander down the corridors of Rome, visiting the Chigi Chapel in the Church of the Santa Maria del Popolo, the sculpture of the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa in the Church of Santa Maria del Vittorio, the Pantheon, the Fountain of the Four Rivers in the Piazza Navona, the St. Peter Square, the Church of Santa Maria sopra Minerva in Vatican City. And then, of course, speaking of Vatican City and the Vatican, you'll be fascinated by centuries of religious custom, works of art by masters such as Michelangelo and Raphael, the architecture of St. Peter's Basilica and the Sistine Chapel, and the colorful Swiss Guard. There's a walking tour that presents the wonders of this tiny country to all who join the excursion. And since Vatican City is, like I said, a country unto itself, surrounded by Rome, take time while there to write a postcard and mail it at the post office on the grounds of St. Peter's Square. Now, we talked a little bit about hotels and about all the different types of hotels that we do offer, from the 3, 4, and 5-star. For this itinerary, I've just chosen to highlight the Marcella Royal Hotel. It's a first-class boutique 4-star hotel located in the center of Rome, within walking distance of the Via Veneto and, of course, the Spanish Steps. This hotel offers comfortable yet elegantly furbished rooms and a rooftop garden terrace and cocktail bar, which offer panoramic views of Rome. The transportation from Rome to Florence, with 2 national rail carriers in Italy, it is my recommendation to include a rail ticket in your itinerary. This is the easiest form of transport, and you'll be whisked from Rome's Termini station, which is their central station, to Florence's Santa Maria Novella train station, city center to city center, in just over an hour and a half. And I'm always going to recommend first class. It is really, because it really affords you more room for yourself, your luggage, while also providing you with the very best European rail experience. And we arrive in Florence. So Florence is the capital of Tuscany, and it's home to incredible Renaissance masterpieces by artists such as Michelangelo, Botticelli, Da Vinci. And from antiquity to present day, Florence has and continues to exhibit influences into art, culture, and politics. Now, outside of Florence, there's Lucca, which is best known for its medieval walls that still, to this day, surround the city. And it played a major role in the politics of ancient Rome and welcomed meetings of Julius Caesar. Combine Lucca and its historical significance to that of Pisa, known for its architecture in the churches, the bridges, and of course its tower, you'll be captivated by the beauty of Tuscany. And speaking of Tuscany, what could be more picture perfect than a true full day in the Tuscan countryside? If you follow us to Greve with its triangle-shaped square, the Castellina in Chianti with its primitive fortress, Montalcino with its famous Brunello wine, and Montepulciano, renowned for its pork, cheese, pasta, and wine. You'll have visits to each of these charming villages, and you'll have the chance to sample the tasty wines and treats of this region. This adventure will truly dazzle all of your senses. And if you're looking to try to hone your culinary craft, we have a private cooking class in a luxury Tuscan villa And it's just what your taste buds will crave. You'll learn to prepare authentic Italian dishes from recipes prepared in the Tuscan tradition. There are 4 courses. Will include a starter, a first and a second, and a dessert. And once you've completed designing and creating this meal, you will enjoy the meal accompanied with Chianti blend wine and the extra virgin olive oil produced by that specific estate. An absolute must see when in Italy is the Cinque Terre. The Cinque Terre are 5 villages that are located along the rocky Italian Riviera, famous for their vibrantly colored buildings and vineyards, which quite literally cling to the cliffside. So from north to south and west to east, you will visit 3 of its villages. Now, of course, you can visit all 5 if you'd like to do that on your own. There it certainly is a day trip that's available from Florence. But on this specific trip, we visit Monterosso. Monterosso is the most accessible by car and recognized for its stretch of sandy beach, lemon trees, anchovies. Then Vernazza, which claims the only proper harbor in the Cinque Terre and has a long history as a fishing village. It actually might be the most beautiful of all of the villages of the Cinque Terre. And Manarola, which is adorned with the most grapevines of all the villages and is famous for its sweet wines. The hotel that we have in Florence is the Hotel Brunelleschi. So this hotel is a luxurious boutique 4-star hotel located close to the Piazza Duomo. This hotel is built in the ancient city center of Florence, and excavations there have actually revealed many Roman treasures. We also now recommend train travel again. There are hourly departures by train from Florence, Santa Maria Novella train station to Venice's Santa Lucia train station. This is the train station that's on Venice Island. There are 2 train stations in Venice. The one on Venice Island is Santa Lucia. The duration of the transport from city center to city center takes approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes. So 2 hours and 15 minutes later, we are in Venice, which is built on more than 100 islands in a lagoon in the Adriatic. Venice has really attracted lovers, poets, and artists for many centuries. Its romantic waterways and its hidden, surprisingly bustling piazzas scattered through cobbled alleyways, you truly see that Venice is a walkable city with wonders at each turn. So we have private 2, 4, 6, and 8-hour walking tours, which offer you the best flexibility to choose just how much or how little of the city you wish to explore. Now, the tour itinerary will be determined based on your interest provided at the time of booking. So make sure when you're talking to Angela about your perfect Italian itinerary and that in an itinerary within Venice, that you're telling her exactly what you want to see. This way you can really set your own itinerary and pace with this excursion. And of course, if you are wondering if gondoliers really sing, you can join us for a private float on the Grand Canal and see Venice from a different viewpoint while being serenaded by local musicians. Now from Venice, we sail around the lagoon from St. Mark's Square towards San Giorgio Maggiore, St. Elena, and around Lido's famous resort beaches to Murano. Here you can learn the history of glass making and blowing at one of the Murano glass factories. And once you've been introduced to Murano and have purchased your handmade glass treasures, we're off to Burano. So Burano is famous for its lace, but it's also very famous for its fishermen and their brightly colored houses. And then it's on to Torcello. So Torcello is the last island on the stop in this adventure, and it is by far the center of the oldest and earliest civilization on the lagoon, dating back to between 400 and 500 BC. The only thing that stands is the cathedral with its mosaics on this mostly abandoned island. Now, the hotel that we choose in Venice, or we chosen in Venice for this specific itinerary, is the Hotel Cassiano, San Cassiano. It is a charming historical 4-star hotel located in the heart of Venice on the Grand Canal and near to the Rialto Bridge. It is just a short 15-minute walk to the Piazza San Marco, or what we call St. Mark's Square, St. Mark's Basilica, and the Doge's Palace. This hotel was actually home to Giacomo Favoretto, which is, he was one of Venice's great painters of the 19th century. From Venice, we move to the Amalfi Coast. The Amalfi Coast, designated, I should say, as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its 31 miles of rugged coastline dotted with beaches and intriguing fishing villages. It is truly a vacationer's dream. And wait till you see some of the photos I have in this presentation. From Salerno to Ravello, Amalfi, Positano, and Sorrento, visitors will marvel at grand villas, climbing vineyards, the scent of lemon trees. So while the Amalfi Coast is near to Naples, it is best to explore this region from within. And many similar day trips can be arranged from either Ravello, Amalfi, Positano, or Sorrento. So perhaps we travel for a full day adventure into ancient Greco-Roman Empire with a visit to Pompeii and Vesuvius. So prior to 79 AD, before the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that actually buried Pompeii under ash and stone, Pompeii was truly a flourishing and cultured city. And evidence of its prosperous existence is found at this archaeological site. The tour does include a visit also to Mount Vesuvius, to date still an active volcano located on the Gulf of Naples. Or maybe Capri. So home to the Blue Grotto where the seas glow electric blue. Capri and Anacapri, which is its main town, are accessible by steamer and a short minibus ride to clients looking to book this excursion from one of those 4 villages that I mentioned on the Amalfi Coast. Capri is on that can't miss list for travelers and celebrities alike, with its rugged natural beauty, the crystal clear waters of every shade of blue and green, sumptuous regional cuisine, and their limoncello. Need I say more? While on Capri, you will have time to explore. You'll have time to shop for authentic handmade leather sandals, dine in one of the many restaurants, or visit the Garden of Augustus. So from Sorrento, there are numerous other sightseeing options. You can choose to be transported to the island of Ischia, located in the Bay of Naples, for its sweeping panoramic views of the Amalfi Coast. On this island, you're going to find the gardens of Mortella, which are private property of the composer William Walton and his wife Susanna, which actually just opened to the public in 1991. The garden was Susanna's labor of love and is a lush tropical paradise of just dynamic and fascinating flowers, ponds, fountains, and colorful birds. And of course, a trip to the Amalfi Coast would not be complete without the Naples experience. Naples does sit on the Bay of Naples in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, and it is a city of great historic significance in art and architecture. On this 8-hour tour, you can enjoy a walking tour in the city's historic center, viewing the sights of the Duomo, Christmas Alley of San Gregorio, and the statue of the Veiled Christ. And after you work up that appetite, you'll be treated to an authentic Neapolitan pizza lunch. And the walking tour does continue after lunch with visits to the Royal Palace, the San Carlo Opera, and more. And before returning to Salerno, we're going to have a bit of coffee and cake at Bar Gambrinus. So that brings us to the what you should know. I have 3 big what you should think about before going. While it's really great to integrate various cities and regions into a customized European itinerary, I'm going to ask that you just check to make sure you allow ample time to enjoy, relax, and really immerse yourselves. The question we always get asked by our agent and advisor partners: when to go? Well, most tours are going to operate year-round, and your travel advisor, Angela, will check with us for blackout dates. But this really brings us and me to point number 3. Point number 3 is booking early. So the sites and the cities highlighted in this presentation are absolutely top cultural, historical, and culinary getaways for travelers from around the world. So it is understandable that flights, hotels, and sightseeing options get full in advance. May through September is truly the peak season. So if you are planning your trip then, we do recommend to book at least 6 months in advance for the best availability and options. Now, I'm also going to say a couple of other words here. Because of pent-up demand due to restrictions on international travel in 2020 and currently still in 2021, we are truly anticipating a flood of requests once Britain and European countries announce that borders are once again opening. And given this, I'm going to encourage you to begin dreaming right now and begin planning your next European adventure with Angela. Also, just to note, in 2022, Europe is set to have a banner year. There are 2 festivals that are being held that actually are held every 10 years, and they fall into 2022. They run concurrently from April to October. And travelers who visit these 2 festivals don't just visit those specific areas or towns. So one is the Floriade in Amsterdam, Holland. The other is the Passion Play in Oberammergau, Germany. And along with all of the other annual festivals, I'm going to name a few, but I'm sure you can name a whole bunch more. There's the Oktoberfest in Munich, Salzburg's Harvest Fest, Christmas markets in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, the UK, Croatia, and more. Bastille Day in France, Edinburgh's military tattoo. There's the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. You'll have pilgrimages to towns such as Lourdes in France, Assisi in Italy, and Santiago de Compostela in Spain. So be sure that if you're thinking of traveling to Europe in 2021 or 2022, that you really start working with Angela today. And with that being said, while there are so many corners of Italy to explore, this really does wind down our suggested itinerary. But remember that your custom European adventure is only limited by your imagination, no one else's, yours. So definitely give Angela a call and let her help you put it all together. And with that, I'm just going to say a quick thank you for all of you joining us today, for Angela to allow me to come here and be with you, to learn about Europe Express, the diverse product we have to offer, and of course, how we can help Angela to design your independent European adventures. At this time, I am going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring my photo or my real life back back here, if I can figure out how to do it. There we go. And I think we're ready to answer some questions, right?
Yep, we are. Thank you so much. Perfectly. I am so ready to get to Italy.
It really, can I just say, Angela, it still is the #1 destination on travelers' European destination bucket list. Still the number one. The number one. Continue.
I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. So before we get into the questions on that I had already given, I'm just going to go through right now and see questions that we have here on Facebook. And one of the questions is, with the current restrictions due to COVID, how is travel to Europe being impacted?
Oh, well, travel to Europe is being majorly impacted right now. There's still a ban on travelers from the US to Europe. So currently we are taking quotes, we are taking requests from Angela and other advisors right now, but we are not taking anything that is departing before July 1st at this point in time, because we're still not sure when countries are going to open up to travelers.
Right. But for those who are looking to definitely travel in 2022, it's just advised that you get the ball rolling now to start in
I
during that?
Yeah, I would even say if you're looking toward the end of this year, so in fall, in winter, start planning right now. Start planning right now because once that pent up demand, so once the countries do open, right? Borders open,
Mhm.
pent up demand is there. People are going stir crazy sitting at home, right?
Right.
They want to travel. There will be so much demand for that airspace, that hotel space, those sightseeing. You really, like, I can't say it enough. Start planning now. There's no risk in doing that. There's no
Right.
risk talking to you, Angela, about putting together an a foreign independent itinerary.
Right. Okay. All righty. Let's get with the questions that were pre submitted to me, and then I think I have a few more on the Facebook. But let's go to these first. So one of the questions was, and then you did answer about the best time to travel, which was May through September. So we got that. But for the first time travelers to Italy, which we're going to have quite a few of those, what are the must-see hot spots that they should definitely include on their itinerary?
Sure. So, we did highlight a bunch of the must-sees. What I like to call the Italian triangle, right? Everyone is doing the Venice, Florence, Rome.
Mhm.
I love Venice, Florence, and Rome. There are amazing things to do in each of these cities and the surrounding areas that we highlighted. So for someone who's not been to Italy before, this is really the jumping off point, right? This is where you should go. You should go to Florence. You should make sure you get to Pisa to see the Leaning Tower and to take the picture of you going like this,
Right.
um, you need to do those things. And then if you truly are a foodie and someone who enjoys the wines and the
Yeah.
limoncellos, and add that into your experience. I mean, that's what you're there. That's what I'm trying to just really get across, is that anything you do with Europe Express and with you, Angela, of course, um, is it's all you. So if you don't want to see the places that I highlighted, no problem. We can find you some other places to see.
Right.
Absolutely. But it's really that triangle. It's the Venice, Florence, Rome that people do go to visit first.
Okay.
And it's easy, like I said, from Florence to combine the Cinque Terre. Cinque Terre is an
Mhm.
easy trip to combine. You can even get to Rome and want to go to Pompeii. It's easy. Rome to Naples by a quick train ride, and then off on one of the Pompeii tours that we have to offer. So a lot can be jammed into the itinerary. And I know I keep talking and talking, but
Okay. Okay. That's fine. No problem.
next
Okay.
question.
So here's a question about it's interesting. So they heard that you're not supposed to tip in Italy. Is that true?
It's not actually. So I think back in the day that we were all kind of told that
Mhm.
because of the way that different servers and the service industry was paid.
Mhm.
But really, in actuality, you are encouraged to tip when in Italy. Now,
Okay.
I just want to give you some guidelines though on that. So for porters, anyone carrying your bag in a
Mhm.
hotel, €5. you
Mhm.
know those poor guys or ladies are carrying your heavy bags to
Mhm.
your rooms. So €5 is absolutely right for them.
Okay.
We also recommend housekeeping, so tipping your housekeeper maybe €1, maybe two per night,
Mhm.
right? It's not a set rule, but this helps them to know that you do appreciate them. In restaurants, I would say tipping up to 10% on a bill,
Mhm.
but no more.
Really?
And then, yeah, yeah. Um, if you're taking a guided tour, if it's a half day tour, you're looking at like €4 per person to tip that guide, because that guide is working to, to get you around and give you the history. If it is a full day, it's €10 per person suggestion. And for taxi drivers, this is where it's a little bit different, right? So taxi drivers in general are not tipped, which is strange. Right?
Okay.
But what I recommend is to tip up to that next euro, maybe, right? So if it's, I don't know, if it's €5.50, maybe give them 6 or 6.25, whatever you have in your pocket. I'm going to also just say here, Angela, and you know this, because Angela has the relationship with Europe Express, she has access to a flyer that we've created, a little bits of information on a tipping guide. So anyone who is booking through Angela, through Europe Express, can have access to this tipping guide in Europe. And it lists all of the European countries and what you should or shouldn't do.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Okay. Question about areas in Italy. Is there some certain areas in Italy that is considered dangerous to travel?
So I'm just going to say Italy in general is considered a safe country to travel, right? I mean, why would it be number one on everyone's?
Right.
But I'm gonna say too, and I had to read a little bit on this before I'm answering this. So in 2019, Milan, of all Italian cities, was actually ranked first in terms of crime. That does not mean that you should not add this wonderful artistic city to any itinerary, okay? What I'm trying to say here is that no matter where you're traveling, if you're walking out of your house, if you're going down to the next, if Angela's coming to visit me, because I live more north, she lives more south, right? If she's coming to see me, she's going to be more careful. If I'm going into the city, I'm going to be more careful. If wherever I'm traveling, it's just, you should be mindful of yourself and your property.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So is Italy dangerous? I would say no in general, but there are some criminals that prey on tourists. So just, you got to be careful wherever you go.
Very true. Okay. Question about a debit or ATM card. Can they use it?
Yeah. So most likely we all use debit cards and credit cards when we travel, right? Gone are the days, and I sound very old when I say this, you could probably see the silver.
I know what you're gonna say.
Gone are the days of, traveler's checks and that
Right.
kind of thing, right? You're using your credit card, you're using your ATM. What I'm going to just recommend here is that make sure with the issuing bank, whether it's the ATM or the credit card, what kind of fees you're going to be charged to use it. Can it be used internationally? If it can, do you have to tell them when you're going to be in a certain country, right? So just make sure to check with your credit card issuing bank. But I'm also going to say you should always have some paper money on you. So when I arrive, I don't buy it beforehand. This is just me. I do not buy international foreign currency here in the States before I travel. But when I land, I make sure that I go to an exchange or to a bank and cash that money. The best places that you're going to actually look for are the banks, because they're usually going to offer you a better rate for exchange. And same with the ATM card, right? You need some cash, go to a bank. Don't go to an ATM just on the corner somewhere. Go to the bank ATM.
Right. Okay. Valid point. Okay. I think I have one more question that was and it was in regards to being expensive. How expensive is Italy compared to the US?
So I think with this question, we have to explore the dollar to the euro first, right? So what is the exchange rate? And I looked that up today, actually, before our presentation. So today, by today's rate, $1 would get you like 82 cents in euros. Okay. And it stayed pretty consistent for the last couple of days, at least, that I've been looking. And in recent years, the dollar and the euro have pretty much been almost equal, right? They're two currencies that are very strong, usually. What I'm going to say is that you will find Italy to be less expensive than some of the other maybe European or British destinations, right? So the UK is normally going to be a little bit higher price because of the pound, the dollar to the pound. Also, Scandinavia will be a little bit more expensive. Switzerland tends to be teeny bit more expensive, again, because of the different currencies. If we look strictly, though, at the living expenses, so the US is approximately, believe it or not, 34% more expensive than Italy to live. Okay. And again, it varies depending on where you're living. I mean, I know I'm living in the Chicago area, right? I don't know where all of your fans are based, but Chicago and Illinois are expensive, right? So I'm just going to say that you can find, I don't want to use the word deal. You can find the best value for your dollar by just pre-planning and making sure to talk to someone like Angela, to have her then work with Europe Express to find you that best price, that package price that fits in your budget and that really fits your passions.
Okay, that sounds good. That's pretty good. I think, let me see. A question about what's the best time of year to visit Europe, especially Italy, which we kind of went over.
We did.
May.
I want to mention one other thing there, if I could.
Sure.
So even though it's May to like September, October is really the high season, I would, if at all possible, I would try to not travel in August. The only reason I say this is because everyone in Europe goes on vacation themselves in August, right? So you not only have the international traveler that is trying to vie for that hotel room and, get on that tour, but you have that domestic and other countries, neighboring countries that are traveling at that same time, if you can avoid it. But if you can't, that's okay. We can still work with Angela to find what you need.
Right. And then as far as temperature wise, during that time, I know like May, it's usually in the 70s, and I know in August it's very hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
I actually went one year in September. So the last time I went to Italy was right before a cruise. We spent a couple of pre-days in Venice. So I just want to mention that too. If you're going on a cruise, Angela can help you with pre or post stays before or after your cruise with Europe Express. So we went in September. Oh my God. It was so warm. I mean, it was great. It was warm. It was nice, but it was almost too hot. It was almost too hot for Italy at that time. So we still did everything we wanted to do. Sweat hanging down, but yeah, Italy is almost always going to have super weather. You're always going to find somewhere that's going to have the sun shining.
Okay.
And of course, they have rain, but
Right.
I'm not going to say 365 days of sun. I don't want to get myself in that, but
Right.
you'll find a place to go. That's
Great. Okay, perfect. I think, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is it more recommended to use euro in Italy versus the American dollar? I know some countries and their local vendors prefer the US dollar versus local currency.
It it all depends. I try when I'm in a foreign country, I use their currency.
Mhm.
Even though sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, or I'm thinking, okay, well, it's really dollar to dollar and it's not really dollar to dollar. I just feel they wouldn't come here and expect to use euros for one of our vendors or for our restaurants. So I do it more as like common courtesy to use their currency. Now, of course, if you run out of euros, yes, maybe someone will say, you know what, that's fine. I'll take your $5 or whatever. That's not to say that they wouldn't. Like anywhere, they will not take your coins, right? They're not going to take your 25-cent US or your, you know, pennies or whatever. Um, and coming back home, you should really make sure that you use all of your euro coin as well. It's hard to change that back to
Right.
US dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting with some pounds right now, so yeah, that I have for over a year. So hey,
I always have that. I'm
yeah,
ready to go. I think I still have some rupees from India too.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
Australian dollars. Yeah, I'm set to go. Like as soon as this world opens up, this girl
ready
is
to go.
on.
All righty. Well, I think that is all the questions that we have on Facebook,
Okay.
as well as the pre. And I didn't get any questions on Zoom, so I guess all of your questions they answered everything. You answered everything they needed. They had to ask as a question, so
All right.
good. So at this time, we are a little bit 5 minutes over, so I don't want to hold you guys, but I thank you guys so much for joining us today. We had an awesome time. I hope you guys learned a lot about Italy, are ready to get ready and start planning out your itinerary and reaching out to me. Let me know what you guys want to do. I know I'm ready. Next year, 2023, whichever year, I know I'm ready to go for sure. But I appreciate you guys taking out the time to participate in our first Lunch and Learn. Stay tuned for the next month, Lunch and Learn, which will be held on Wednesday, March the 22nd, where we'll be talking about I'm sorry, no, 24th. I'm sorry, 24th. Thank you.
You're welcome.
24th, where we'll be talking about Greece. Okay? And that'll be exciting as well too.
Well,
So you guys, thank you so much. You have an awesome, awesome rest of the day. Have a great evening and take care. Bye bye.
you.